This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
The story of banking in India is a turbulent one. There used to be private banks, and then in the 70s, at the height of socialism, banks were nationalized with the noble idea of giving those Indians loans who would not ordinarily have had access to them. The idea didn't work, and private banking died. Now, as a result of economic reform, we see private banking re-emerging. This week, India Inc. brings you the story of one of the first of these private banks, Yes Bank.
I think Reserve Bank of India, in its policy guidelines, certainly wanted, professional bankers to get involved to see if they could get into building a new bank, which would create a paradigm of sorts, bring in new processes, technologies, systems, good financial pedigree and partners, also cater to high growth knowledge-driven sectors like food and agribusiness, for instance, which was one of our very compelling considerations.
We recognize that the foreign banks, with the limited branch network that they have across India, they will never be a major force in the long run. Remember, foreign banks, and not only the city banks, but every foreign bank in London or foreign banks in Tokyo or foreign banks in New York generally lose money. Banking is really a question of getting into the local marketplace.
There's something about banking that has fascinated me from almost my very early stages when I went to college in the US. I was in New Jersey doing my MBA at Rutgers University, and I would ever so often go to New York, which was about 20 odd minutes away, and walk on Wall Street and walk on, these large avenues with these fantastic, money center banks. I happened to do my summer training at Citibank during mid-course, between my MBA. And for some reason, I was very fascinated, by working in a banking institution. And, I chose somehow, way back in early 1980, to pursue a career in banking.
The two brothers-in-law who share a surname and are married to sisters are the promoters of Yes Bank, but it's with a team put together by Rana Kapur that the bank got going.
I and Ashok are, the two promoters of the bank with well-defined, responsibilities. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the chief executive of the bank, and this bank is totally institutionalized. So this is not like, Kapoor and Kapur or Kapur ki hatti, This is 100% Yes Bank and 100% professionally, entrepreneurially, institutionalized.
So you don't see it as a family business that would be handed down to your son or your...
No. Well, no such desire.
I started working with Rabo India for Rana Kapur as part of the M&A group, and rose to become the head of the M&A group in Rabo India. And at that point, as you know, Rana was conceptualizing Yes Bank, and he in fact discussed with me even aspects relating to the private equity placement that he did in the first round with Citigroup, with Chris Capital and AIF.
I would say that this is probably the only switch that I have made in my life. I used to work for a foreign bank called Bank of America in India. I worked there for about 14 years. I ran the treasury business for them in India last. And when this opportunity came along, that was about March, April of 2004, about 2 years ago. I thought to myself that it would be a very challenging assignment because not very often do you get a chance to be a part and parcel of a startup firm, and that too in such a core sector like banking. So this was a chance to be a part of a growth story, of a story that had to be set up from scratch.
Unlike Ajay, I actually relocated back to the country as well. I left India in late 2001, and when this came along, I thought it would be like my colleague Ajay said, an opportunity to come back and be part of a startup, which you don't normally get in an industry like banking. Most of that time was in India. I was away from India for the last 5 years. The country's, of course, changed transformationally in some respects. And I thought that when you're part of a large global organization of the type that I was in, you tend to grow incrementally as a professional. This was a chance I thought where one could grow professionally, transformationally, and that was my principal driver.
I think it was a passion to create something new in the market. I was part of a startup in the private banking sector earlier, but this time on a different level and in a different market condition altogether.
What is it that makes Yes Bank special? What is it new that it's doing?
Well, there are different parts to the bank. On the wholesale side, what we are trying to do is basically give an end-to-end solution to most corporates who are denied of such sophisticated coverage. And there are not many players in the market who are able to integrate and offer it under one single roof, and that's precisely our USP. And the same knowledge theme that we have adopted in the wholesale bank is being transferred into the retail side as well.
Between 98, 99 till almost early 2003, the economy was not in great shape. And we had this huge challenge, this awesome challenge of trying to really, build an enterprise, a mid-size corporate finance, NBFC, at a time when the economy was not in great shape. And people were hesitant to join new organizations. So we went through the grind, and at least I thoroughly enjoyed that particular assignment, and I felt, hey, listen, this is great, to be a professional entrepreneur, because I'd been an executive for like 18 years, 19 years, preceding that in two large, banking organizations. This was like my own baby. And then, as luck would have it, the second time around, and I have this philosophy which we practice at Yes Bank at all levels: the harder you work, the luckier you get. So somewhere, we got lucky. Second time over, Reserve Bank of India, a highly holistic institution, decided to give me and my partners a banking license.